what does it mean to be an engineering leader? If you asked me this coming into RCEL 100, I probably would have said that an engineering leader is just someone who's really technical and then ends up in charge of a team. Now, I would say that engineering leadership is primarily three things. First being translating technical complexity into something that a team can actually understand and act on. Second being making decisions when there isn't a clear answer, so acting under uncertainty. And third, leading people and not just completing tasks yourself, but actually setting up your team to be able to perform.
Where I came to Rice, I thought of leadership as a skill that people were either like naturally gifted with. And so I wouldn't classify myself as a leader.
And then so I knew I was always a leader, so I decided to join the RCEL program. And I feel like through here, I was able to kind of see the aspects of a leader.
When I was like a freshman and a sophomore, I really assumed that everyone communicated the same way. Of course, I assumed that everyone communicated the way that I communicated. And then I quickly realized through actually mostly RCEL 100 and 200 labs that when I said something to a group of people, every single one of them would interpret it differently, and none of them would interpret it the way that I intended it.
RCEL 100 and 200, they have many labs. And so they were experiential learning stressful scenarios. And so they were able to show me what are my strengths and weaknesses in the sense of balancing client and manager expectations and demands.
So during our RCEL 100, in my very first semester at Rice, I did a bunch of self-assessments, and through those results and self-reflection, I identified my main strengths and weaknesses. Then, on the following semester, based on those results, I created my leadership development plan. I picked 4 skills: managing conflict and negotiation, building power and using influence, and adapting leadership styles, and oral and written communication. Those skills, I not only had a lower level on them, but also I thought they would be good skills to practice while I had RCEL support.
450 is where you actually are able to kind of put into practice everything that you've learned in RCEL. And that's not only communication, but like how I said, conflict resolution, making ethical decisions, working with others, building teamwork, empowering others. It all just comes together and you're able to practice that.
What I learned from my 4 years in RCEL, of course, I could talk about it for hours and hours, but the 3 main things that I want to make sure that I'm going to bring with me is that number one, leaders are made and not born. So that's something that I came to Rice believing the complete opposite. And I started RCEL 100 actually pretty skeptical of like my ability to become a leader, but I tried it out and I'm glad I was wrong. And number two is that being introverted is not a weakness. I just have to be more intentional about the way I lead. And something that I bring with me from the leadership conference at the Air Force Academy that I went this semester with RCEL is to always go back to your training. So if you're in a high pressure environment that like has time constraints and all of that, you should always go back to your training and the answer is gonna be there.
Or like through Rice along with RCEL, I knew that I wanted to be an engineering leader, but I didn't know exactly in what. And I think through being able to take this, doing RCEL courses, also being involved in RCEL leadership, it has allowed me to gain a better understanding of what type of engineering leader I want to be. And going with my engineering clubs and projects, now I know where exactly I want to go in my career.
Most important lessons learned. First, leadership's not about having control, but about creating an environment where others can succeed. And when people feel supported and know what's expected, the team works a lot better overall. It's much smoother.
I think I undervalued teamwork in high school and even early in my Rice career, but RCEL has really helped me understand that teamwork is one of the most important things to get good at because you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life.
I would say, well, besides the fact that you have nothing to lose and you're only going to gain everything from RCEL, there's so much things that have built my career and built my, not only as a leader, but my personality.
I think overall, the biggest thing RCEL's taught me is that leadership isn't something you wait to feel ready for, but it's something you grow into. And I think I've seen that in myself over the past few years. And you can't wait until you feel fully ready for something. You just kind of have to get into it and learn as you go.